From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to Joy News at 8, our primetime bulletin. Our top stories this hour: fire outbreak at Timber Market in Accra destroys about 10 wooden structures. Junior nurses at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital say they are awaiting payment of arrears in October. As promised, else they will return to their strike until all arrears are paid. Also coming up, the Ghana National Procurement Agency unable to account for 10,000 Ghana cedis paid to them in investment company limited. In business tonight, sachet water producers set to increase prices by 30% from tomorrow, October 1st. Also, U.S. President Barack Obama says he is not resigned to a U.S. government shutdown with midnight deadline looming. Authorities in Nigeria say there was no security protection at the Agricultural College, where up to 50 students were shot dead on Sunday. We have these, we have sports, we have showbiz, and some of your comments coming up. My name is Gifty Andopia. Do stay with us. In our very first story, junior nurses at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have given authorities of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital 4 weeks to settle their salary arrears, or they will embark on another strike action. The aggrieved nurses today demonstrated to press home their demand for their unpaid salaries.
Junior nurses at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have for weeks and months pressed home their demands for their unpaid salaries. After negotiations stalled and authorities failed to keep their promises, the nurses decided to lay down their tools.
We are currently at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where junior nurses who have worked for over 20 months have not been paid their salaries. These nurses have threatened to go on strike, and we are here to talk to one of their leaders to find out what is currently happening here.
For now, we are gathered here this morning, having in mind that the administration will come with a good information on how they will pay us. So for now, we are waiting for the GRNA president to come down and tell us today, right now, that we are going to be paid by the close of this month or next year, the ending of this year, right? So we are waiting on him now. Otherwise, we will declare the strike.
The striking nurses today marched in their numbers to the forecourt of the administration block to register their displeasure. The nurses were further agitated by the presence of the police as they massed up in their numbers, asking to be paid every peso of their salary. Not even assurances from the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses Association could deter them from demonstrating further. The leadership of the aggrieved nurses later went into a crunch meeting with management and said they would only offer their services to the hospital if management signs a memorandum of understanding which will spell out the mode and time of payment for their salaries. The meeting ended without inconclusively.
We are here to announce to you that, yes, the decision that was taken by government to direct us to pay from the IGF, we have followed the directives to the letter. And as at this morning, management has met and management has confirmed payment. 2 hours from now, maximum, all the checks for all the nurses will be ready. I mean, and we don't have problem with that at all.
Come ending of October, you're going to go back to them and they're going to sit with us and negotiate on how our arrears are going to be paid. So for now, we are no more on strike. But in 2 hours, they have said that we'll receive our salary of September salary. So you are waiting till we get the salary, then we'll know what to do.
So now, aggrieved junior nurses of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have rescinded their decision of embarking on a strike action. They are hoping to get back to the negotiation table with authorities to resolve the issue of their arrears owed them by government. Reporting from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Yafosia Jemfi for Joy News.
And away from the hospital, let's do some education now. Effective teaching and learning needs a sound environment, but not for pupils of Sechikrom Presby Primary School. The poor state of the school's roof means they get wet anytime it rains.
This is the Sechikrom Presby Primary School in the Insamam Adwejiri municipality of the Eastern Region. It is the only public school in the town. Constructed over 60 years ago, the school has never been renovated. As a result, cracks have developed in parts of the building. The roof leaks and the classroom often gets wet, and the children try to avoid getting soaked, losing concentration for lessons. Besides this, the school also does not have windows and doors, making it easy for miscreants to use the classroom for antisocial activities. Some even sleep there. Off camera, the children spoke about the things they find when they come to school the next day, such as used condoms. But there are other concerns. Although the pupils are taught ICT, they have never set eyes on a computer mouse before, let alone a monitor and system unit. They have to imagine whatever is taught them. Mark Amakodompre is the municipal chief executive of Insamam Adwejiri.
Yeah, me per se Oba report to me immediately. Go to Sechikrom School Hall. Apparently, there's a problem that had not been brought to my notice. It is with regards to one of the classrooms. The roofing is so bad, and when it rains, the children just have to go home. It is even worse than school under trees. Okay, yeah. So we need to, solve the problem. Just go and do the assessment. The LA school over there, look for where the problem is. I'll call the education director once again to give me specifics. So when you get back, I can give them to you. You go to the school, look for the trouble, assess, budget. Let's make sure we fix the problem by next week, okay? Yes, sir. Okay then, all right, bye-bye. You know what? Give me 2 weeks. Come back. I'll take you over there.
The news team will do a follow-up on the situation to see if the promise is kept.
The Ghana National Procurement Agency Limited is unable to account for 10,000 Ghana cedis aids paid to the New World Investment Company Limited, an investment banking firm, in 2004. At the judgment desk sitting in Accra, Acting Chief Executive Officer Douglas Yagra could not also tell the commissioner the purpose for which the money was borrowed.
Yeah, in January 2004, GAPA Limited borrowed some funds from New World Investment to augment its working capital. And this was because the company by then was really working with no capital.
Yeah, before you proceed, how much was this amount that you borrowed from New World Investment?
It was by way of discounting what they called commercial paper, with a face value of 1,012,702. In those days, I mean, in the terms of the old cities, it was 10 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay, now you go.
So New World offered to discount that commercial paper according to certain terms, which are stated on the paper. So in the end, we got an amount of 9.2 billion Ghana cedis to augment our working capital. Out of the amount, we utilized some to establish a letter of credit for the importation of sugar, so that is our normal line of business. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, the sugar supplier failed to deliver. But then the loan was for a period of 3 months. The 3 months...
excuse me, you use the said amount for the importation?
Yes, my lord. Not all of it, part of it.
Part of it?
Yes.
And the sugar was not delivered?
No, my lord.
So what happened to the amount, or you never paid upfront?
No, never paid upfront.
Okay. Okay, go on.
So when the paper was due after the 3 months, New World tried to demand payment. So we quickly refunded the amount that was not used for the LC and some other amounts from our funds to them as part payment. There was then a balance of 4.5 billion those days, which we were negotiating to pay. Unfortunately, because of the weak financial nature of the company, we could not immediately pay off. And there was discussion between the management and New World as to how to pay. So they became a bit impatient, not impatient, and went to court demanding the balance of the money. We went to court, we engaged a lawyer, we went through the processes, and at the end of the day, a judgment was given.
A judgment was given against your company?
Yes, my lord.
Is that right? Yes.
The sole commissioner, Justice Yawapao, sought for further explanation, adding he did not understand how such payment was made.
It was out of the 450,000 that they had judgment in the sum of 4.3 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah, the judgment is here. The judge said we should pay them the amount of the promissory note less the amount we had paid, and that was the 450,000. That was the judgment on the paper.
450,000?
Yes, my lord.
With interest or what?
The issue of interest was not resolved yet. It was supposed to be at the court.
No, I want to know what the court entered as the final judgment. Well, the court will talk of interest.
I would say it was a part judgment, because if I read what the court said,
yes,
it was adjourned to 4th March 2008. And for the meantime, judgment is entered for the plaintiff to recover from the sum of 10 billion, that is amount stated on the commercial note, being the amount admitted by the defendants as due, less all payments so far made by the defendants.
So that was the first judgment, is that so?
Yes, my lord.
That was a summary judgment, is that not so?
Not summary judgment. It was, I can say, part judgment.
No, it's certainly to
no,
part.
My lord, the lawyer was over here. It was 1 million Ghana, the judgment was in the sum of 1 million Ghana cedis.
Less.
Even though New World Investment Company, which appeared before the commission earlier, had confirmed to have been paid such amounts, the GNPC could not give account of such payment. The matter had been adjourned to October 14, 2014 for further clarification.
As part of efforts in strengthening democracy and encouraging the participation in governance at the local level, the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, has organized a forum to encourage citizen participation in local governance through active engagement. According to a research officer at CDD, Maxwell J. Ashon, the initiative is targeted at empowering citizens to know more about the governance process and demand accountability from public holders.
The capacity building workshop on social accountability in decentralization in Ghana seeks to sensitize, impart knowledge, build capacities, and cultivate the attitude of participation in local governance by citizens. The forum, organized by the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, is targeted at interacting with traditional authorities, district assembly members, organized, marginalized, and youth groups, among many other groups in the country. Speaking at the forum, Research Officer of CDD Maxwell A.J. Ashon said the initiative is part of efforts in strengthening the credibility of local authorities to promote local government accountability.
How do we ensure that district assemblies are responsive to the needs of the people? The only way we can do that is to let the people understand what the local government system is even supposed to do and what the functions of the district assemblies are. And by doing so, when you are able to do that, then you give them the opportunity, you help them to identify the areas that they can use to engage their district assembly. So we thought that it would be very prudent for us to run this series of training programs for some specific target groups so that they can lead the process of ensuring that there is accountability and responsiveness within the local governance system as we have it in Ghana.
The president of the Greater Accra Market Association, Mercy Nijan, expressed her gratitude to CDD for the education and also making market women part of their target groups.
Ake temuku ba fe noko ihabo John Hale noko danisa no fe ni nekeni ne ngmene wona ake the more no wo fio the more no wo kun wo developments na eja ake more a responsibility ni ake na hi oshika yo depe as to low rent lanwe responsibility ake sani esa maami they have schools ne market habo koni esa market mi.
The forum will continue to meet other youth groups and political activists to deliberate on issues that are targeted at enhancing grassroots participation in local governance.
All right, our video of the day is coming from a photojournalist, and it is actually about transportation. Check this out. That's an interesting one. But if you have any of these interesting videos, just bring it to our office here at Kokomlemle opposite Joy FM at Multi TV. You can also upload them onto our Facebook page or also on our Twitter page. We'll bring you the address of those ones. But we'll take a very quick break. But still to come, we'll tell you what the business community is doing. And we'll zoom in on to sachet water producers. We'll find out what they have for us. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. Now, located at the center of the capital, Old Fadama, popularly known as Sodom and Gomorrah in Accra, one of the country's biggest slums, has expanded its boundaries over the years. With over 85,600 residents, the huge number is a great strain on the housing system in the community. First, on Joy News Slum Dweller series, we take a look at shelter at Old Fadama and the struggle in finding a place to lay your head there.
As expected of Islam, houses at Old Fadama are mainly wooden structures. Small rooms, some without windows, accommodate more than 10 people. Walking through the community, it is easy to spot one-story wooden structures. In an apparent disregard for careful planning and demarcation, these structures are built close to each other, a situation that hinders fire personnel in cases of emergency. In an effort to ensure safety and prevent loss of properties to fire, leadership have encouraged residents to invest in concrete buildings.
After every fire outbreak, we encourage, if you are in the position, put up a concrete structure so that at least you'll be safe. We have been living in constant fear, anticipating to move out of the community someday. And therefore, initially, you will agree with me that it's not advisable to invest so much when you know one day you'll be leaving. So that is why people make do with the wooden structures. Your wall is another person's wall. there's the need for ventilation, but there's no way we can advise them to open up these windows. It's not possible, because if you open, you are opening into another person's room.
Philip Kuma also dismissed perception that residents illegally connect electricity to their homes. He insisted all connections to the national grid was done by qualified ECG personnel.
Meters have been supplied, we buy, we pay, and use the light. Maybe the wiring is not that decent, so that is what will make you think that people are just doing illegal connection. But that is not the point at all.
Kwame Amuzu has lived here with his wife for the past 12 years. He has now pulled down his one-room wooden structure and is almost through with the construction of a one-bedroom block building. A mason himself, it has taken him 3 months to get to the plastering stage. And according to him, he has done everything possible to ensure the building is safe.
Me top blocks, Papa. So far, I issue blocks 270. Mark 270. And I cement and so wake at home, issue 10 bags. Say, me plaster her, me we are not my totais for her. Nada be a carway ceiling. Yes, maybe. It's a share the minion and my book about 14 million. And to maybe be 16 million.
Like Amuzu, many of the residents put up their own buildings with the help of carpenters and masons in the community. Though residents are free to put up buildings if they have the means, the space available and nature of the structures do not allow for indoor plumbing. Aren't people allowed to build their own bathrooms in their rooms?
The point is that you will not get space for that. You will not get space for that. Like, if you can get space for that and it wouldn't affect the other people, no one cares, you can do it. But if you have to do it and this man comes out to say, no, this your bathroom is disturbing me, he has a right, he can report you to the opinion leaders, then they will bring you to the justice that no, they won't allow it, you better stop it and join the main bathhouse. Maybe the little space that you yourself may get to say you will use it to do, you will use it for different thing else. Because already you in your room, you are already congested.
Having spent the last 6 years in the community, Hassana Zakaria, a head porter who hails from Savelugu, tells Joy News she shares this room with 10 other girls.
You understand? They all lie down by line. Some will be like this, others will also be like this.
How is it for her? Is it comfortable?
What she's saying is that the 11 is even too small for them. The room is big more than the number that is living in it, so they feel comfortable.
Climbing and descending the stairs to the upper room of this one-story wooden structure is not a difficult task for Hassana and her roommates. But I struggled my way up and down, fearing a fall. Adelaide Arthur for Joy News.
Well, of course, the word comfort is relative in this context, but we have Billy Anaglate, who is the Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Fire Service, on the line. Let's explore what we do in case of a fire outbreak. Good evening to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Now, I'm sure that you know Sodom and Gomorrah very well. Now, if you do know that, and you will appreciate that there's nothing like space as far as this community is concerned. As a fire person, how do you deal with fire in such a community? Indeed, they are already there and there's nothing we can do about it, really, it seems.
Well, actually, it has been the biggest problem the fire service has faced. Anytime there is emergency within those communities that we are to attend. First of all, it is an issue of accessibility. Even before the accessibility issue comes up, we also have a problem of the proper address of incidents. When there is fire at those areas, it becomes difficult for the caller to tell the fire service the exact fire speed, to tell us that, you drive to this house number this and this, that there is fire in there. Or they even have it difficult to tell us any landmark at which we should be able to be guided and to direct straight to drive to the place. And notwithstanding that, we have accessibility. When we even get the fire order, we get to the scene, we have to struggle to maneuver to ensure that the situation is solved. Many at times it becomes so difficult that we need to lay several hoses of our delivery point to get to wherever the fire is. When this happens, it affects our operational efficiency.
Now, the fact that this affects your operational efficiency is established. I mean, looking at this kind of situation, this kind of arrangement that we have there will surely impede your work. But then again, we know that Sodom and Gomorrah has been there for such a long time. We've tried to work at it; it's not working. So they are there now. What are some of the measures, say, that you have put in place to deal with such an area as far as fire outbreak is concerned? Because indeed fire outbreaks are not new to these areas.
Yes, exactly. What we keep saying is that we always try to call on the town and country planning to ensure that at least if the thing that hazard is a permanent hazard that all of us are looking at, that they cannot relocate the people, then they should be able to provide facilities that will enable the protection of the people. It is not the fire service that will go in to demolish those structures over there.
But you can advocate. You can advocate.
Oh, of course, yes. That is exactly what I'm saying, that we need to call on all these stakeholders to also contribute to this thing. If really we cannot move the people, but the best we should do is to ensure that the people, either if they are not moved from that place, then they should be able to ensure that sanity is put into the structures that they put in there. Unfortunately, however, apart from the accessibility, you realize that the materials that they use in constructing those structures in which they live in are all combustible materials. Look at those structures that got burnt today. Even the story building that was also involved in that was made up of wood. And from the concrete level to the roofing level are all combustible material that they have. And you look at all those structures, you also look at the people, the facilities that they do. They do not have any fire safety measures in mind. And they are not people that will avail themselves for any fire safety education. We try severally to ensure that we want to educate them to understand that for them to protect their own life and their property, then they should be able to have certain safety measures in place. But that will not even go down to them. None of them is ready to take any of those measures that we are saying. So I'm only saying that the best we should do, especially for us to be able to protect those people if they will not move, is for the town and country planning to ensure that at least accessibility is created for us. That is not only fire service, any emergency vehicle is needed. Somebody is there, ambulance have to pick somebody. They need to get close to the person. It's not every fire situation that we have to lay several TV hosts. There are certain ailments that you need to get close to the person before you take it.
You'll be able to do that. Okay, thank you very much. Billy Anaglate is a Deputy Public Relations Officer with the Ghana National Fire Service, talking about how challenging it is to access some of these areas. Indeed, electricity is one of the issues that have been raised, and we hope that will be put to rest, that issue be put to rest. But some residents of Timber Market, a suburb of Accra, have been rendered homeless after fire razed their wooden structures. According to the affected residents, the fierce nature of the fire prevented them from salvaging any of their belongings. The cause of the fire is unknown.
According to eyewitnesses' account, the fire outbreak occurred around 3:30 p.m. Monday, sweeping through some wooden structures. The fierce nature of the fire, according to some of the victims, made it impossible for them to salvage any of their belongings. Some of the items destroyed included cash, clothing, shoes, mattresses, and electronic appliances such as television sets, video decks, and tape recorders. The timely intervention of personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service prevented the fire from spreading to adjoining wooden structures. The cause of the fire outbreak is yet to be established, as victims were counting their losses. Others were sifting through the debris to see if they could find some of their belongings, but to no avail. Some victims recounted their experiences.
My name is Sister Penny Netia, and tonight I want to Mr. Bandamina. So, when I say woman be torn by rail, say, we see wusi ntine hu ya se wusi na akosoro na me fa me sister ba no ya fi de se na wusi na untumi mfa hye tie no ma nyina hye ni te se bebia be da kra bi ni ho ti se mo me bie ba wa ha mo pam ade mo ton ade e se mo me business obi amfa hye wa ha
me ne ma de ma mfa ba akokora nka me ni padua akora nka me hye konsele jane ye for so se enka ye fa ne ma ba te jane ka me hye dem for so pie ye krofo sika sebe wo mo de ma me fa ma mi sister ni nyina ahia ye me ka se ebi kra mpaboa akora me jiro me ni mpaboa me hye se ti de me sra mo so mo mo aye ni baby e be da na dwi kra be dia me se.
This is Joy News and you're watching the Primetime Bulletin. We'll return with some more stories.
Hello, welcome to Joy Business. My name is Abigail Adomako Enchi. Now, sachet water producers have hinted of a 30% increment in prices following the adjustment in utility tariffs. According to the producers of mineral water, the tariff increment, which takes effect October 1, will add to production costs, and this has necessitated the increase in prices of their product.
According to sachet water producers, the increase in tariffs has affected general operations. The Deputy Director of Top A Industries, producers of standard water, Festus Aidu, tells Joy News the 52% increment in water tariffs means they are to pay 52% more on the special rates they are charged by the Ghana Water Company Limited. This, he says, has put further strain on their cost of production. According to Festus Aidu, the 52 and 78.9% increases in both water and electricity tariffs are not the only contributors to the increase in cost of operations.
At the moment, the price of the raw material, which is almost about 60% of our cost, has almost doubled. Then you come to transportation, then the labor. So this water and electricity has not come to add up to already huge costs that we are incurring.
30% increase in prices of sachet water takes effect October 1st, but as standard water, it starts tonight at 10 p.m. Producer price for 1 bag of sachet water will cost 1 cedi 80 pesos, up from 1 cedi 50 pesos, and a single sachet water will cost 15 pesos, up from 10 pesos. Adelaide Arthur for Joy News.
Well, government is seeking to reposition the energy sector as the major engine for economic development and growth. The Vice President, Mr. Arthur, at the Second Standard Chartered Africa Summit, said the reform of energy tariffs was critical to attract the private sector investors to the energy sector.
The Second Standard Chartered African Summit sought to provide a platform for business leaders, academia, government and the banking sector to deliberate on the implementation of practical innovations to advance economic growth. Key among the discussions was the high debt to GDP ratio and its inimical impact on economic development, the creation of new trade corridors with China, and how to make Ghana the investment hub for West Africa. The Vice President, Mr. Arthur, told participants government is keen at implementing policies aimed at addressing economic shortfalls in the first 3 quarters of the year.
A key requirement of Ghana's continued economic progress is the increased investment in infrastructure and the strengthening of local participation in the economy. We are committed to promoting a consistent local content agenda as a platform to ensure the emergence of a strong, vibrant, and internationally competitive domestic private sector. The development of local content will underpin our major economic policies and reforms to ensure a better balance in resource allocation in Ghana. And this is necessary for long-term sustainability and social cohesion.
He also spoke about efforts to revamp the banking sector and how to create a congenial atmosphere for small and medium-sized enterprises to flourish.
Energy and infrastructure are also important for us, that in reducing the cost of doing business. For this reason, we are continuing to focus on energy as an important aspect of the economic plan. Energy investments will not only meet Ghana's demands, but could potentially establish Ghana as the foremost energy supplier in the sub-region. The reform of energy tariffs are important in this respect, as the energy tariffs are critical, as remunerative tariffs are critical in attracting the interest of private sector investors in the sector.
The Minister of Finance, Tekpe, indicated that government will continue to reach out to local investors to encourage the mobilization of domestic resources to ensure that Ghanaian-owned businesses are put on a stronger footing to meet the requirements of a growing economy and to be globally competitive.
Ghana is embarking on significant public financial management reforms, and we are moving the basis of our budgeting from cash to accrual accounting, such that we are able, to assess better government actual and contingent liability. In this regard, we have created a contract database, which is what is enabling us to focus on the pipeline. And therefore, the calculation of our deficits should take this also into account.
Participants at the conference called on government to take a second look at its budget spending in order to satisfy all sectors of the economy critical for economic development.
Well, now we have had some information of a reduction in the prices of petroleum products, and we will be speaking to the Public Relations Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Yaro Kasambata. Mr. Kasambata, if you're on the line and you can hear me, a very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, welcome to Joy Business on Multi TV. We are hearing that there have been some reductions in the prices of petroleum products. How true is this?
Yes, there's a reduction in the prices of petroleum products effective tomorrow in the morning.
So it is true. Now, by what percentage are we talking about?
The price of petrol has been reduced by 4.34%. And then the price of diesel has been reduced by 2.39%. LPG has also been reduced by 2.14%.
Now, what has really necessitated this reduction?
Well, I mean, we have always, used two key factors. The first one is the price of crude, and then the second factor is the dollar and the cedi, exchange rate at any transaction. So what we're dealing now is the combined effect of these two factors, resulting in the reduction in these prices of the petroleum products.
Now, Mr. Kasambata, before I let you go, are we going to see the reduction reflect in transport fares?
Well, the reduction in transportation fares is not really a mandate under the authority. It is a mandate under the Ministry of Transportation. So it will depend on the discussions that the ministry is able to arrive with the transportation union, and subsequently, an announcement to that effect may be made. But that would depend on what conclusions there are. What we deal with mainly is the price that you pay for fuel, and those have been reduced effective tomorrow in the morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yaro Kasambata, and he is the Public Relations Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, telling us that petroleum products have been reduced by a little below 4%, and subsequently we would get to know if that will translate into the fares for transport. Now we move away from that, and barbers and hairdressers have expressed worry about the adjustment in utility tariffs, saying it has shot up their cost of operations. They say they have no option than to pass on the cost to their clients, but pleaded with the utility companies to provide them with better services. Now take a listen.
Increments of the bill is not helping us at all, because you can come to work from morning to evening, whereby there will be no one customer coming to your shop, or even 3 or 4, because everything has gone high. When you are taking maybe 4 cedis for barbering, and today the person came, you tell him, okay, I'm taking 5 cedis. He asks you why. So no, you know, everything is expensive. So I think, and it's affecting me. If I did not put this on it, I cannot do what? Benefit something, because at the end of the day, I'm going to pay light bill, and now the light bill, they have increased it. You pay electricity bill, what is the name, water bill, now they've increased it. So at the end of the day, if you are taking a 4 cedis, the end of them, how much are you going to pay? How much are you going to get and pay your rent and even your light bill and even your water bill? And you have to eat. If you're talking about your eating and maybe your rent and a whole lot, whereby we have a whole lot of resources in this country, and we don't know, we are not benefiting, and we, the Ghanaians, we are not enjoying all those things. You understand me? So I think the government have to do something about this increment of the light bill and the water bill, because it's not helping us.
Prepaid in your quota, you're 20 months, so I'm fine do a month. By 2 weeks, 3 weeks, NASA. You're 50 cedis, 70. So I'm sure be being far home my higher. And so on, so you're tied to 2 pipe, like almost ye bia e bia 2 weeks na ya tum e de ye call another 3 weeks as na ya be pipe e sa na e higher so salum for no it is say ano de we o ma tutu light bill mo any water bill mo no say every day bi o mo ma light no nya ejuma maye na water bill water no say nsiso maye ye be tum say bi o ho ye gi 30 ya ye de be ko 35 e bi o ho ye gi 35 ye de be ko 40 ni e be gi 10 cedi ye gi 5 cedi ye de be ko 10 cedi say ye gi 10 cedi ye de be ko 150 nti yes sa na ye be ye no.
Well, of course, barbers and hairdressers feeling the pinch of the increments there. And that would be it for business. My name is Abigail Adumakoenchi.
Joy News Business was brought to you in association.
Sports is brought to you in association.
Time for the very latest in the world of sports right there. We will talk about the World Cup there, because Ghana has been hit with another injury blow ahead of the crucial World Cup playoff against Egypt, with defender Jonathan Mensah out for 6 weeks due to injury. The 25-year-old was replaced in the VNTG's 1-1 draw with Bordeaux in the French Ligue 1 game played on Saturday after picking an injury. Subsequent tests done on the unspecified injury has now confirmed the Ghana defender would need 6 weeks to recover, ruling him out of the October 15 clash against Egypt in Kumasi. Mensah's injury setback will provide further selection headaches for Coach Kwesi Appiah, who must now find a replacement to partner John Boy as Ghana's central defensive pair against the dangerous Egyptian team. Really has issues over there. So Ghana is already without experience Isaac Vosa, who is recovering from a long-term injury. Still with all issues with that particular World Cup qualifier, and Zambia defender Hichani Himondi has told Joy Sports the Black Stars are favourites in next month's World Cup playoff against Egypt. Ghana will hold affairs in Accra before rounding up the qualifier at the Air Defence Stadium in Cairo. Despite having a poor head-to-head record against the Egyptians, Himondi, who played in his size 2-1 defeat to Ghana in Kumasi weeks ago, is throwing his weight behind the Stars.
For every team to be in the playoffs, it's a good team. So I believe for Ghana to be
to qualify to this round, to the knockout stage. They have a good team. I think the coordination, I think they have the teamwork, and I believe like the game we played, they were the best team. Like, they played well and they deserved the win.
When we played you in Dollar, between that time and now, what kind of difference did you see in the team?
I think Ghana has got a lot of like players who play abroad, and they've got the experience, and I think when they came here, I think they showed the experience, and they were at home. They used the advantage with the crowd, you know, like the way we use the crowd as well for the advantage, and we know the ground. And for us, the travel arrangement wasn't good for us before we reached Ghana. I think it was to their advantage.
Indeed, the Egyptians are stepping up their preparation. They beat Uganda 2-0 in a friendly game today. Now, chairman of the local Black Stars Management Committee, Fred Papel, has hinted his side of stepping up preparations ahead of next year's CHAN tournament to be staged in South Africa. Ghana has been drawn in Group C alongside Libya, Ethiopia and Congo-Brazzaville at the Continental Showpiece. Fred Papel tells Joy Sports his sides are not relenting in their efforts of getting fully equipped for the assignment, despite having engaged Ivory Coast and Libya in friendlies lately.
The preparations are on course. I would want to say that I'll remind Ghanaians that we started preparations for this tournament way back last year. I think we've been preparing. We've had a number of local camping sessions, about 7 or 8 local camping sessions, some lasting for about 5 weeks, others about 8 weeks or 10 weeks. In the period to date, we've played 3 international matches, 2 against Cote d'Ivoire, in Kumasi and then Obuasi, and then another against Libya. I must indicate that the game with Libya was virtually a game with their senior national team that was preparing in Tunisia ahead of their game against Cameroon, which unfortunately they lost. Now, between now and the tournament, what we plan doing is that we might have one local camping session, I think sometime in mid to late October.
Well, that'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adid Jr. Gifty is back with international news. Have a good night.
Sports was brought to you in association with
Showbiz is brought to you by...
And in showbiz news tonight, Afrobeat musician Femi Kuti along with highlife maestros Amachi Dede and George Dako thrilled their audience to quality African tunes at the banquet hall of the State House here in Accra during the African Legends Night concert.
As expected, the night was filled with lots of good African tunes that got patrons on their feet and dancing throughout. One after the other, Ben Bracco, rapper Trickmatic, George Dako and Amachi Dede gave the audience their own brand of African music. Ofikujo was the only female on the bill, but proved that what the men could do, she could do better. Finally, Femi Kuti exhibited an unmatched energy on stage with his exhilarating performance of classic pop tunes to the admiration of all, especially the Nigerians in the crowd, who could simply not have had enough of the legend but to join him on the dancing floor. Patrons of the show simply appeared to have had a great time. The African Legend Night concert is an annual event, and organizers have promised another thrilling show next year.
Serious. The former president of the Nigerian Actors Guild and actor Seyi Narinze has reacted to fellow actor Jim Ike's vibrant deliverance at the synagogue. So that was the actor there in a deliverance session at the Synagogue Church of All Nations. But that's it for showbiz.
Showbiz was brought to you by...
Before we wrap up the bulletin, with the 2012 election petition verdict out of the way, the road has been cleared for those with intentions to contest the 2016 elections to do so. My colleague Marian Ture has spotted one brand new party and tells you more in the following report. Unfortunately, we cannot bring you that report, but as you can see, the Miracle People's Party right there in your view, MPP, and their symbol is a rather interesting crab ready to bite if you like. The motto is justice and development, almost like that of the nation. But that's it for the bulletin. Our top stories for this hour. A fire outbreak at timber market in Accra destroyed about 10 wooden structures. Junior nurses at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital say they are waiting payment of arrears in October as promised, or else they will return to their strike until all the arrears are paid. The Ghana National Procurement Agency is unable to account for 10,000 cedis paid to New World Investment Company Limited. In business, sachet water producers are set to increase prices by 30% from tomorrow, October 1st. And United States President Barack Obama says he is not resigned. My name is Gifty Andopia. Many thanks for your time.